Hello there. Welcome to day 18 of the live stream challenge, the 21-day live stream challenge. Whew, struggled to get that one out. If you're new here, I'm Shania, and I have a YouTube channel where I show detailed tutorials on how to sew garments from scratch to finish, as well as how to sew some upcycled garments using already existing pieces. Um, and if you're not new here and you're returning, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to have you here. As I mentioned, I'm doing a 21-day live stream challenge where I'm going live for 21 days straight discussing different things. Yesterday, I did a review of some street style outfits for a Lagos spring 2024 fashion show. And that was pretty fun. That was cool. I am almost missing my deadline because it's like 45 minutes till midnight. But anyhow, for today, I am going to be taking a look at some of my old content. Oh my gosh, so cringy. Taking a look at some of my old content and just kind of giving some input, maybe some things I would have done differently, things that I forgot that I did or said or whatever. So let me go ahead and pull up my, if you see me looking this way, it's because my second screen is here. But let me go ahead and pull up my YouTube. So fun fact, or never mind. I was going to tell you how many videos I have published. Actually, it's 265 videos, I think, I have published. So let's see. The first video was a 50 facts about me. I don't think that was the first video. I feel like I did something else before that. Let's see. Because I actually started YouTube in high school. Like, I think my very first video was like a singing video in high school. But I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole. I'll just go to I'll go to my first like sewing tutorial. And I think the first I have like I bit my tongue earlier and it's still healing, so I keep fumbling on it. FYI. That's why I keep like double saying my words and stuff. But anyway, okay. So these are the first tutorials that I have. Let's see. The very first tutorial I did was I think I just skipped over it. The very first clothing tutorial I did was these shorts. So let's check it out. It is how to make leather panel shorts. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Hey, whoever's watching, can you let me know if you can hear my screen? Can you hear the sound? I think you can. I just looked at my settings. Okay. All right, let's get into it. Oh my gosh, hold on. First of all, can we talk about how tender my voice is? It sounds so tender. Oh my gosh. I don't even remember. This was 9 years ago. So I was like 22 or something like that. Ooh, I just told you guys my age. It's all good. Um, but yeah, I think I was 22. I did the math correctly. Oh wow, I sound so tender. Anyway, let me carry on. So I'm so like That's one thing I am kind of glad I no longer do in my tutorials, and you guys can let me know if you feel any different. But before my tutorials were always structured in a way where I would list the materials first and then I would get into the tutorial. But now I just dive into it and like you figure out the materials as I go along. Okay. Good girl. That's smart that I tried them on inside out. That's good. Okay, so the one thing that I would have done differently here that I've learned over like the years is that whenever you're making shorts from jeans, it's always, well, I wouldn't say always, but the smart thing to do is instead of drawing the line from like the front of your leg or the side of your leg, the smartest thing to do, especially if you're a girl with a lot of like booty, the smartest thing to do is draw your line from your butt. So if you can, twist as much as you can to the back, and then draw a line for how short you want your shorts to be in the back, and then from that mark, then carry it all around the short. Because a lot of the times, what happens is like you make a line on the front of your shorts, but by the time you carry that line around to the back, because your butt causes the fabric to rise, you end up having like it ends up being shorter in the back than it is in the front because of the volume that your butt takes up. So my advice for that, if you're ever making shorts from jeans or leggings or whatever, like you're turning something, some sort of pant into shorts, start with a mark underneath your butt where you want the line to fall underneath your butt. True, it is better to go longer than shorter because it's always easier to take off than it is to add. Okay, I think it's smart that I did it that way. I feel like I don't know, I over explained that, but okay, that's good that I'm like it's good that I'm like taking that mark and truing it essentially is what I'm doing. So that's good. Actually, guys, I don't know if you guys can see the video. Now that I'm looking at my other screen, it doesn't look like the video is playing. So let me um let me like reshare. Oh my gosh, that would suck if this whole time it wasn't sharing. Let me reshare it though. Dang. Because on my screen it looks frozen on this screen, but I don't know if it actually is. So yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think you guys. Oh, all right, I'm gonna carry on anyway. I think you guys might have missed everything that I was just like recapping, but I'll just carry on for the sake of timing. And then we're just gonna add like. So basically, what I've shown so far in the tutorial was I had on my leggings, I had them on inside out, which is great. And then I made a mark for how short I wanted my shorts to be. But I made the mark on the side of my leg rather than the back of my leg under my butt. And now where I'm at is I took the leggings off. I have that mark, and I'm just measuring from the top of the waistband down to where that mark is. And I think just now I said I was going to add something. Go back and see what I said I was going to add.
We have 12 inches, and then we're just going to add like a half inch seam.
Okay, so I added a half inch for seam allowance. It's good that I added it's good that I added seam allowance, but if I were to do anything different about this part, instead of doing a half inch, I would have done a full inch so that I could do a double fold, because half inch fold, especially for stretchy leggings like this, just is not as professional of a finish as a double fold would have been. So I would have done a full inch.
Allowance. I'm going to add a half inch seam allowance, which means it'll be like 12 and a half. So this is the line we want to follow. To here, 12 and a half, which is here. So then now we have this here, and we just want to connect it. And so this is what your straight line should look like. So now you just want to hold the pants together. You can pin it if you want, and then just cut.
This is like the fact that my elbow is all up in this shot. But listen, this was like my first sewing, like my first fashion tutorial. I don't even know if I had a machine at the time of doing this. I think I did have a sewing machine at the time of doing this. But yeah, my elbow is all up in this thing, and I definitely should have pinned it down, but I think it's okay.
And there we have our shorts. So I have tried my shorts on.
Look how skinny I was. I was so skinny. I was so skinny. Gosh. Not to say that I'm fat now, but I'm just not, definitely
not. And now I'm going to take my measuring tape, and I just want to take like from the middle of my knee, and then I just want to bring it up to like about here.
Why?
And that's basically where the leather is going to start. Okay. So.
Okay. I think it's smart that I did it this way, because the thing is, like, if I would have done this flat, it might not have, like, flat meaning like not on my body. It might not have come out the same way because of the fact that these leggings are stretchy. And whenever you're dealing with stretchy fabric, whenever you're altering or manipulating stretchy fabric in any way, it's best to do it while the fabric is stretched. So whether you're, wearing it and doing something to it, or whether you have it on your dress form and you do something to it. But the reason why you want to manipulate it while it's stretched is because you have to account for the fact that when it gets put on and taken off, it's going to be stretched. So if you manipulate something that's stretchy when it's not stretched, let's say these leggings, right? And let's say I had them flat on like the table, and I started like, trying to add the leather or adding rhinestones. Yeah, it will work and it will look cute. But as soon as I go to pull it over my hips, that's when everything will go haywire, because the material isn't primed or prepped for the stretch position. It's only primed and prepped for the like relaxed, non-stretched form. You know what I mean? So always, again, to reiterate, if you're working with any stretchy fabrics, always do whatever you're going to do to it while it's on your body or a dress form, or even if you want to stuff it with like newspaper or something to get it in a stretched state. So it's very good that I did this.
So mark it off.
I missed that ring.
So that's the line for the leather.
Look at oh gosh, I look so good. Stomach is snatched, honey. snatched. Ugh.
Okay. Okay, so this is what your two lines should look like. So I'm basically just going to take them off and draw these two lines again on the back. So now I have my shorts on backwards. You can see this is the line that I made originally. Okay, but this is the front of the leggings. So I want to just go ahead and do the same.
That's actually smart that I think it's smart that I just rotated the pants. So I just put the back in front of I put the back in the front and the front in the back and just repeated the same thing with the lines.
Same thing on this side. So this is the back.
My body. My body looks so good.
And this is the front.
This is a time
so
when
you
I was
can
doing
see here that the lines are not exactly straight. They're a little bit curved. Basically, what you can do is just go ahead and where the part is curved. So for example, like right here, you can just go ahead and take your measuring tape and make it straighter.
Okay, that's smart.
This here was the original line, right? You see,
and this, what I'm doing here, like, you know, taking the curved line that I drew and making it straight, is called truing. So usually you use this technique when you are drafting patterns. Let's say you're like you're draping a pattern on a dress form, and then you're transferring the drape over to paper, and then you like, you know, make the line straight or curved or whatever. Like that's called truing, from my understanding.
It's curved. So I just went over it with my measuring tape and I made this second line, which is straighter. This is the front of my leggings, and this is the back of my leggings. Okay, you want to take your scissors and you want to cut along this line.
I miss this room. Can I just say, so I made this video while I was living in Rome, and this was, I moved like 3 times when I was in, well, technically 4 because I was living with my boyfriend at the time. That would be 4. But this house that I'm living in was the last house that I lived in, and I loved it. Like where I'm sitting, like right in front of the table was a balcony. So it was like my room, and then the balcony was connected to my room, and it was just like the light was always immaculate. I miss it so much. Okay.
That you just did.
All right, so I'm cutting out.
Okay, so I just cut it. Okay, so you can see it's cut. So then you just want to flip these over and find the other line, right? So the other line would be like this one, and you want to cut along this line, okay? Okay, so this is what it should look like after you have cut out the shorts, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You have the original shorts and this piece, okay?
It sounds like that because it probably wasn't.
And basically this piece is going to be our pattern piece, and we're going to trace this piece onto our leather fabric. Here we have.
Okay, that was smart. That was a smart thing for me to do, was to take that cutout pattern and basically just trace it onto the leather. The only thing, and maybe I might change this according to what else I might do, but for now, I think the only risky thing about doing that is like the leather, the fabric that I'm tracing that piece of legging onto, I have to make sure that it's the same amount of stretch. So that is another tip that I would give you. If you are, you know, drafting patterns from already existing garments, you want to make sure that the new fabric that you're going to be working with to create a garment from, you want to make sure that that fabric has the same amount of stretch as the fabric that you're getting the pattern from. Because, you know, when fabrics are non-stretch, they tend to be like, they tend to look bigger. If you ever look at like a non-stretch denim pair of jeans, right? They might look big. And then you look at like stretchy denim jeans and they look small. It's because there's stretch, it's going to stretch, so it will get bigger. But with the non-stretch, it's not going to get bigger, so it stays big in its like non-stretch state. So yeah, I would just say I hope that this leather fabric that I'm tracing this pattern piece onto is like stretchy or the same amount of stretch. But let's see.
Our leather fabric. So this is the leather part, and then this is just the other side. So
okay. An error. I wish, okay, I almost want to say like if you can spot the error right now without cheating, without skipping ahead to see what I say, if you can spot the error right now, leave a comment. All right, and pause while you leave the comment. And when you're ready, press play so you can get the answer. Okay. The answer, what's wrong with this is that the grain line of the leather fabric is this way. And that pattern piece, I'm assuming that the grain line for that is this way. So because the leather grain line is this way, it means that it's going to stretch like this, up and down. Whereas the pattern piece that I cut out, the grain line is like this, which means that it's going to stretch like this. So right away, because the grain lines are not parallel, the stretch is not going to be the same. I can already like, but let's see. Maybe I rotated it. Let's see.
So this is the fabric that we cut out from our pants. We basically just want to trace it onto the leather. Okay, so this is...
Oh. Okay, I guess I did rotate it. Brava. I did rotate it because I can see that the grain line of the leather fabric is now like this, and the pattern is also like this. Okay, good job. Good job. And another good thing that I did was I added seam allowance around the pattern. So that's also very good too. But the only thing I would say is like I think the half inch at the sides is fine, but I would have done a full inch at the top and a full inch at the bottom just to account for a double fold for just a more professional finish.
What your measurements and everything should look like. And then I went all the way around and I have about a ½ inch seam allowance. So we want to cut along the seam allowance. So this is what it looks like once it is cut out. Okay, so now basically what we want to do is we just want to go and basically sew it like this. So we're just going to sew our seam allowance all the way, basically folding over on this white line. And
what? What? That's not correct. I mean, it's not horrible, but I'm not sure why I told y'all to do that. Because what I would do in today's like time, now that I have that pattern piece, I would immediately sandwich together this pattern piece with my shorts and have them right side facing and then stitch along the seam allowance line. I'm not sure why I was already hemming the side. Why did I do that? Let's see.
And you're sewing. And you just want to do this side and this side. We're going to leave the top as it is, and we're going to leave the bottom as it is.
I agree with leaving the top and the bottom.
So this is the shorts from earlier, and this is what we have hemmed, right? So what you want to do now is you want to take this patch and you want to just fold it like this. And you want to have the correct side inside of the fold, right? Because remember, everything that we do is inside out. Okay. So do like that. And now what you want to do is you want to take this part, the top part of the shorts, and you want to connect it with this part, okay? Take the top part of this.
No.
You want to line it up with this line, because remember, this is the seam allowance. So you want to line it up here.
Okay.
And then you want to...
And okay, I think I was fine to say line it up with the seam allowance line, but I think in this instance, having a 1-inch seam allowance would have been better because I could have done a double fold over that band. But I am still very lost as to why I like sewed the seam allowance along the side. What?
Put the edge of this fabric onto where the edge of the seam allowance is. And you just want to pin it and just...
I guess, okay. All right. I see. Okay, technically speaking, I don't think that it was technically speaking, I do not think that it was correct for me to hem the seam allowance on the leather patch. Technically speaking, I think I should have just directly connected the seam allowance with the of the leather patch to the shorts. Directly connected the two pieces, then I would have had a flap, and then I could have like serged or zigzag stitched, or even done like a French seam or a flat felled seam for the flap. But I see why I did it this way, and I see why it's not so bad. The good thing about doing it this way that I did it is that it'll keep the fabric flat. There will be no flap, right? Like if I were to do it the technical way that I have in mind, where like I just directly connect the two pieces, I would be left with a flap. But doing it this way, there is no flap. You just create like one flat panel of fabric. So it's not entirely a bad idea, especially considering that I didn't have a serger. And I think at this time I didn't really like understand the concept of like a serged finish anyway. So I don't even think it would have dawned on me to like do a zigzag stitch. So this is actually a good idea.
Pin it down. When you sew, essentially, you're just taking this piece and you're just going to sew it on to the edge of this.
Now, I'm looking at this in-screen part right here. And I'm looking at the needle, and it really looks like the needle is just going up and down, which means that I did a straight stitch on this, which means no bueno. Because whenever you're dealing with stretchy fabrics, even if only one of the, I think, don't fact check me on this part, but I want to say, even if, like, let's say you're dealing with two different fabric types, as long as one of those fabric types is stretchy, you should use a zigzag stitch. But don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that. I'll have to Google that. But I do know for sure that if you're dealing with a stretchy fabric on its own, let's say the whole thing is stretchy, you should use a zigzag stitch because it allows for the elastication as well as like the relaxed state that I spoke about before, like stretched and relaxed, stretched and relaxed. It allows your garment to do that. Whereas if it's stitched, if you do a straight stitch, it's not going to allow your fabric to stretch. It's literally going to hammer your fabric in its relaxed state, which means that when you go to put it on, you're going to hear like you're going to hear your you're going to hear your thread and your stitches popping because the garment has to stretch to get onto your body, and the machine did not account for the stretching, and so now your body is breaking the stitches. So yeah, if I were to do this part over, I would have definitely said, hey guys, make sure you are using a zigzag stitch. And if you're not using a zigzag stitch, then at least install a twin needle. Then you can do a straight stitch with a twin needle because the twin needle already accounts for stretchy fabric.
Okay, so basically this is what it looks like. And then we just finished sewing this.
Not
okay?
bad.
So remember, this is inside out. When you turn it over on the right side, it's going to look like this. Okay.
Yeah,
So now basically
that's definitely a straight stitch.
what
Doesn't
you
look
want to do
horrible,
is you
but
want to do a top stitch.
not
I
bad.
just finished doing.
But actually now I feel like I do see zigzag. And then I had the nerve to say do a top stitch. Girl, what are you talking about? Do a top stitch. Oh man.
in the top stitch.
I mean, not to say top stitch was wrong. It's fine. But it's like if you're gonna like all of a sudden be, saying things correctly, like you should go back and see what else you can actually say correctly. But that's me being hard on myself. But anyway.
I don't know if you can see it, but here it is. And you want to close it. So connect this part with this part of the shorts. Okay, and basically you want to do what you did before, and you basically want to just sew the edge of this to the edge of the leather part and then all the way up. Okay, so let's do it. This is what they look like after you've sewn them, right? You have this, and then you have this
They
part.
don't look horrible.
So again, now what you want to do is, so you want to turn them on the right side. So we're going to go ahead and do the top stitch all the way on the edge.
Okay, I see why I did the top stitch, because if I didn't do the top stitch, then there would be, I guess, kind of like a little bit of a flap. So maybe the top stitch was to kind of like keep the leather fabric flat on the like legging fabric
Edge.
But I'm curious to see what I'm gonna do with that fabric. That's the leather fabric that's at the top. Like, did I do a double? Did I try to do a double fold? Like, let's see.
Of the leather. Well, now we have our top stitch going along the edge. So the next thing we want to do is we want to just go to the top and the bottom. So this is the top, and then go to the bottom of the shorts and hem it so we get a neat finish. Okay. So to do that, we're going to turn the shorts inside out again. Now you have the pants inside out, and you basically just want to take the top part of the shorts and you want to fold them down to where the white line is, and then fold. So hold your fingers in place and fold again, and that's gonna be how we're gonna hem it. Okay.
That's interesting. It's good that I did a double fold, but I'm curious to see how the final edge between the leggings and the leather, how it lined up, because to my knowledge, I only did a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So 1/2 inch seam allowance does not allow for a double fold unless the fold is like 1/4 of an inch, which I don't think it was. So interesting. The other tip I want to insert here is Gizem Ikem. Thank you for the virtual hug. Thank you. I think you're Turkish. Merhaba. I think. Yes, what was I going to say? So a tip that I wanted to add is when you're dealing with hems, it's always good. It's a little bit annoying, I know, but it's always good to like press your hems before you sew it, because once you fold and then press it and you take it to the sewing machine, it's easier to stitch because it's like already flat in place, and even to the point where you probably don't even need to pin anything. And in theory, you should be pressing your garments anyway. So, all right.
Okay, take your pins and just keep.
And the other thing too, when you're dealing with leather fabric, and this is kind of like you'll figure this out for yourself, but I would like to tell you before you do figure it out. When you're dealing with like leather fabric, whether it's faux leather or vinyl or actual leather, you probably shouldn't use pins, because the pins will leave holes unless wherever those pins are is exactly where the thread is going to go, and so the holes will get covered. But if not, you should definitely be using quilting clips like these, for example. I have a sewing machine, but I have no motivation. I really your videos. Oh, that's nice that you're Turkish. I want to say Nasisin, I think. Um, yes, you should definitely pick up that sewing machine and sew something, even if it's something small. Um, I'm trying to think of like I actually have I'll find it and then I'll send it to you. But I have a video where like you can make really small things. And I think it's always good to make something small because then it will make you feel like comfortable and excited to do bigger things. And I think the small things are like one is like an eye mask for when you want to sleep. I think one is like a weight that you can put on your paper, a paperweight basically. Um, Things like that are a bit easier and simpler. I love that you love my videos. Oh, you're all the way in Turkey. That's amazing. Oh, thank you. Okay, so what was I saying? Yeah, so I was just saying that if you're working with leather fabric, you should definitely avoid pins and use like clips instead because these are not going to puncture or create any holes in your fabric.
Bit in place like so. And this is basically how.
And look, like you can see, this is so cringy. You can see that I am struggling to pin this fabric because it's a bit thick and maybe my pin is a bit blunt. Maybe it's not as sharp, but it's just like pins are not the way to go for this type of fabric.
How we're gonna do the hem. I've hemmed the bottom of the shorts and I have also hemmed the top. So basically now you want to repeat the same steps. Everything you did on this side, you want to do on this side. Okay, so this.
They came out okay, actually. They came out okay. I don't remember how these looked on the inside, and obviously I didn't show them. But it's not bad for a first sewing project. And I actually feel like this style, like that style of like, you know, a leather insert, I feel like it's classic. I feel like that's something that could be worn today, you know, and I don't think it would really go out of like style or trend because leather is just like leather's leather, you know. But not bad. Not bad.
This is the final product. If you have any questions about anything, just leave a comment below and I will do my best to clarify. Check out my other videos and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already.
I would say though that the back
Notion has been the centerpiece.
the back looks a little
It's quite
low.
literally an extension
I
of
don't
my
think I
brain.
can go
I can
back.
take
Let me
notes.
see. Yeah,
Check out my other video.
the back, look at the back, how it goes down. It looks a little low, almost as though I don't know. I don't know why it looks low like that. It's weird. Almost like it's on backwards, like that's supposed to be the front of the shorts or something. I'm not sure. But yeah, this was like one of the first sewing tutorials 9 years ago, got 15,000 views. Or like 5 comments or something like that. And yeah. Yeah. That is that. I don't want to stay on for too long because it's literally 5 minutes to midnight. So I am going to wrap up here. But I just wanted to say thank you for joining me. I hope that you found some value in my reflection and, you know, just kind of taking my like errors as like your tools and your arsenal to be like a better. But yeah, until next time, I'll see you guys in the next live stream tomorrow. You're very welcome, Kizem. Okay, have a good night or good morning or afternoon, and I will talk to you soon. Ciao.